Hi everyone, welcome back to Let's Do Bonsai. I'm Scott Winard. Today we're going to take a look at the beneficial bacteria that everybody's talking about, namely the mycorrhizal fungi bacteria. I've been sent from Tom of Growing Clip Bonsai for Seniors some MYKOS or MYKOS as some people call it, and some Azus or Azos as some people are calling. Some packages of that. What we're going to do today is we're going to make some of the mixtures up and slowly put them to the test. So let's have a look at making some mixes up, and then we'll have a look at what the benefits are and how the mycorrhizal bacteria works, and I'll see if I can put a little bit of pictorial information in place so that you can see what's going on. I've seen some interesting videos and I'll adapt those videos, and we'll have a look and see what we're doing. So there's a number of really good stuff. There's the TEA BREWS, the CalCarb, the Azus, the MYKOS or MYKOS, and some more TEA BREWS. And then there's the organic root enhancing MYKOS pure mycorrhizal inoculant. And what we'll do is we'll have a look at how these are used and how things go. So the instructions for a lot of these say use a tablespoon. So you can see there 1, 2, 3, 4 tablespoons. The MYKOS that we're going to be making up says to use tablespoons and cups. The MYKOS WP is what we're going to be making. We have a pack of MYKOS WP there that Tom's kindly sent. So I think if we make 1 gallon of the MYKOS WP, WP stands for, I believe it's wettable powder, and what we can do is we can create a mix, a watering mix, and get that in amongst the roots. So if you haven't used any of the MYKOS or the Azus, the WP allows you to water and get that beneficial bacteria into the roots. So tablespoons, for anybody out there that's not sure, I've just laid out some spoons here. Obviously this is a teaspoon. You use that to make your cups of tea and count out your sugars. This is a dessert spoon, so when you're having dessert, it's commonly placed on the table when you're having your dessert. So some people think this is a tablespoon. No, this is a dessert spoon. This is a tablespoon, and this is normally placed into serving bowls and things like that on the table. So we'll be using this tablespoon to measure out our MYKOS WP. And hopefully there's, it's quite thin, you can see, so hopefully I would imagine there's just about 1 tablespoon's worth in there, and we'll be able to create a 1 gallon mix of the MYKOS WP. Now my plastic hose watering can that I've got, that holds just over 1 gallon. So I don't know whether we can see that in there. So 5 litres is about 1 gallon, and then there's another measurement up there, 6 litres. So we'll be filling it up to just underneath that ridge, and we'll be adding a tablespoonful of the MYKOS WP. But before we do that, we are gonna create a TEA BREWS. Now for the TEA BREWS, we soak the it'll be a tea bag inside here, and we soak this in 5 gallons of water for 24 hours. And the reason it's taken me a little while to do this is we needed an aerator to keep the water aerated in the bucket that we're going to use. This is the bucket that we're going to use. I believe these hold 5 gallons. So we'll fill 5 times with the hose plastic watering can, and then we do have some power sockets up here, and I'll show you the aerator stone shortly. We'll get that mixed up, we'll get that opened up and into place. So here we go with watering can number 1. I did clean this bucket out as much as I could. There might be some leftover remnants of rubbish, but it's as clean as I could make it. So that's 6 litres of rainwater, so we're well over a gallon, and judging by that we will get 5 gallons into that bucket. So here we go. So that's added at least another 4 litres, so that is 2 gallons. That's 3 gallons, this will easily hold the 5. So that's gallon number 4. And here we come with the 5th and final gallon. And there we go, so that's 5 gallons of collected rainwater. Looks very nice and clear, very nice and clean, so we've got to be happy with that. So our package says add 1 brew into an Xtreme tea brewer, other compost tea brewers or pals or air stones, squeeze the brew several times, tear it open, 1 activator packet and add the contents, allow solution to brew for 48 hours for growing plants, 24 hours for flowering and fruiting plants. So we're going to at least allow this to brew for 24 hours before we use any, and I'll try and wait the full 48 hours because you know, we've got a few that need the roots to grow, like the 2 yew trees that weren't repotted. So yeah, we'll do that, and then we'll be able to use it to water our trees. So this is the air pump that I got. With it being 5 gallons, I decided to go slightly bigger than the ones that were mainly on offer, and this will put 2 air stones into the you see there's 2 outlets there for the pipes down to the stones. So we'll be putting the plastic pipes onto there and dropping them into the bucket, and then obviously we can plug it in and set it going. So we're back at our bucket of water, and I'm just unwrapping the pump, and we'll plug that in. And you can hear it buzzing away. So I'll just set that down. I'll just turn that off for the moment. And then in this box we should have the plastic piping. We've got some suction cups to keep it onto the side of the bucket, so that's good. We've got the pipe, and 2 aerating stones. So let's push the pipe onto the stone. We'll push onto that. And then what we need to do, and I should have done this first, is we need to push the suction cups over the pipe as well. So let's just take these from the other end, and I'll have to run that all the way down to where the stone is, and that will keep it in the bottom. The weight of it will keep it in there anyway, but that will keep it in there. And then we'll get the other suction cup and put that over the pipe, and we'll just run that all the way down to near the stone, and we'll drop that into place as well. So we've got our two ends of pipe here that need to go on the air pump, but before we do that, we have what look like some no return pieces. So I'm just going to look to see what we need to do with those. So these are one-way flow valves, and basically you can blow it that way, but you can't blow it that way. So the air will travel through, but if any water tries to get back up that valve, it will not travel up and through. So we need to cut our tube and fit these in the middle of the pipe just to prevent any water coming back up and into our air pump. So I think it'd actually be wise to keep these one-way flow valves out of the water. I don't think we want to be having them in the water. So if we cut the tube far enough back to a piece that isn't going to go into the water, and then if we just find out which way our airflow is, and we can place our valve into the middle. If you put these pieces of tube into some warm water, they become flexible and more easy to push onto these units. If I have any problems with it, I shall certainly be doing that. I'll be bringing some boiling water in a cup into the greenhouse and pulling these off and redoing them. But for now, I'm just getting them on and in position so we can start bubbling away. So again, enough to keep it out of the water. And then our flow valve, I believe it's that way, so yeah. So the flow of the air, we get that on, and it is a little bit not wanting to push onto these valves, so I may well end up coming back in and redoing these, but as long as I can get them on for now, we should be okay. But definitely if you're struggling with getting your pipe on, and it's the same for a lot of other things as well, a lot of other applications for pushing pipe onto valves like this or connectors like this, if you put the pipe into hot water, it will become nice and soft and malleable, and you'll be able to push them nice and easy onto any of the pipes. Now for the stone, they just slip straight on, and I'm hoping for this pump end, yeah, they're just slipping nicely on, so that's all good. Push it straight in, straight on, and then we can just put the pump down to one side, turn it on, and we can see our bubbling pot. So it says, once again, add 1 brew into Xtreme brewer. Well, this is our brewer, we've created our own. So a pail or a bucket with air stones, that's what we've created. and squeeze it several times. So let's open the packet and see what we've got inside. I'm thinking this is just a single sample. So in the packet we've got a tea bag, which is the one that's going to be soaked. So we'll drop that in. And then in another packet on the inside we have the activator packet. And that's what's going to have to be teared open and poured in. But before we do that, we obviously need to squeeze that bag a few times to start the process. But it says this is the food pack, contains non-plant food ingredients. I'm not going to try and pronounce those. Directions: tear open food pack and add contents to container with water and TEA BREWS pouch. So it's nice and simple really. And there's some more information on the back there. Nutritionals, total nitrogen, so it's guaranteed nitrogen into the water, keeping it aerated as well, which should hopefully lead to a nice watering solution for our trees. So I'll just come in here and squeeze the tea bag a little bit. Careful not to rip it, that's the last thing we want to do. You see the water turning dark, so that's good. This is the first time I've done this, so you know, bear with me. So we'll give it a bit of a squeeze, and you can see all the goodness coming out of that. And then we want our activator packet. We'll tear that open and pour that in. I'll take our tablespoon that we had and we'll give that a good stir, and as you can see it's gone quite a dark colour with that activator, so that needs to be in there now for at least 24 hours brewing and bubbling away. I'm going to go and wash my hands and we'll mix up the MYKOS WP. So we've got our Hawes plastic watering can, and we're going to mix the MYKOS WP, the wettable powder, into this, and it takes 1 tablespoon of powder per gallon. So rip this open, and we'll open up to get to the powder, and we'll scoop out what we can. That's about half a teaspoon. So we'll add that into the water and we'll just see if we can get some more. Yeah, it looks like this is going to be a 1 tablespoon sample, so we will empty the contents of that single pack into our water. And I'll just take the tablespoon and give that a good mix. Put my thumb over the end, we'll just give it a good mix up. And I'll just bring you in to have a look up there. Hopefully you can see it's gone a cloudy colour, the water in there. That's obviously where the powder's mixed in, so that's the beneficial bacteria in there ready to water our trees, predominantly the yew trees that have that we got a week or so ago, and any of the others that we feel need a bit of root boosting, and we'll give them a shot with that. You can do other things with this mixture, you can create a reservoir. So if you're holding water, sending it out like a hydroponic style, feeding the trees and then bringing it back, you would have so many tablespoons depending on how many gallons your reservoir holds. So if you was feeding it out, bringing it back, feeding it out, bringing it back, that would be for your reservoir and root drenching. If you were doing a bare root dip, it's 4 tablespoons and a Zeus per gallon of water to dip it straight into the water. And it does say for extreme results, apply in combination with Zeus and Xtreme TEA BREWS. So I'm sure over the course of time we will be mixing up, matching up different things. We do have the ficus trees, which if we get 3 similar ones, we might be able to mix up 3 different mixes and see which way performs better. But I think any of these beneficial bacterias are going to do us wonders. What I am going to do after this has settled for a bit, but then we mix it back up, is I'm going to transpose this water into our watering systems, because obviously we'll lose quite a bit out of the watering can as it spills over the edges of the pots, etc. So with this we can get a more direct aim straight into the root system that we're going to work on. So whilst that sits and whilst that's aerating, let's just have a quick look at what these beneficial bacteria are, what mycorrhiza fungi is, and the other beneficial microbes that help create the mycorrhiza fungi, and how they work in conjunction with the root system in a symbiotic state.